Hi everyone. My name is Raphael Peter Gale R. Yeah, Raphael R. As you can see. Yeah, so I'm here to give a detailed history of the Igbo people of present-day Nasarawa State in Nigeria. I'm an Igbo person, as you can see. I don't know if you can see it. I'm a Obegon, meaning I'm an Igbo person. So now, before the coming of missionaries or any system of government, the Igons were living according to their clans. And in each of these clans that I told you, the three major clans, the leadership or the rulership of those clans were saddled in the hands of the elders. So the elders in that in those communities are actually the leaders. And the elders are referred to as Moandakbo. Moandakbo means the elders. And Dakbo means one person. So the elders back then were the rulers of those sub-clans. That's before any form of government. Now, because the Igons were warriors and because the Igons were self-governed, they have a well-structured, should I say, government that they govern themselves. The Igons refused to accept anything foreign from the, should I say, the missionaries or the colonial masters or any other system of government. They believe they can actually govern themselves. However, as time goes on, the colonial masters needed to, should I say, have a system of governance to bring all the Igons together, because the Igons were kind of have a sub-clan, they have different clan, so they are kind of protecting themselves, they are living on their own, but then the colonial masters needed like a centralized system of government. And so to do that, the colonial masters appointed an indigenous Igon person. His name was Mr. Alombugu Otsawe. Alombugu Otsawe was now appointed as the first indigenous Igon person to like kind of be the centralized leader of the Igon people in 1926. He ruled till September 1942. He ruled for 16 years as the first indigenous Igon person to become the leader of the centralized Igon government. Now, Mr. Otsawe, or Alombugu Otsawe, was dethroned because of his, shall I say, he was highly traditional. He was protecting the interests of the Igon instead of protecting the interests of the missionaries or the colonial masters. And what is this interest? They were formerly collecting taxes from all these people, and then they were miners. You heard about the tin mining in Jos, the tin mining in Alizagadas, Nasarawa Igon area, and the rest. So Alombugu was actually protecting the Igon people, and he was not accepting any other religion apart from the traditional worshipping. That's the Ashim. So these are some of the things that made the colonial masters to dethrone Mr. Alombugu Otsawe. And Alombugu, history has it that he was a charismatic leader that was loved by almost everybody in Igonland. All the three clans admired his system of rulership because he was protecting their interests. So because he was going against what the colonial masters wanted, as a warrior and as someone that has never been conquered, he was being, I don't want to use stubborn, but then he never agreed to be subdued by these people. And because they were the ones that appointed him, they now removed him from office, like I told you, in September 1942. So after the dethronement of Mr. Alombugu Otsawe in September 1942, the colonial government appointed his son, Mr. Abimuku Alombugu Otsawe, in that September 1942, and he ruled as the caretaker chief of the Igon centralized government until June 1943. So Mr. Abimuku Alombugu ruled for about 6 to 9 months as the caretaker chief. So after when Mr. Abimiku Alumgo Otawe was, should I say, relieved from his duty as the caretaker chief of the Egon centralized government in June 1943, there was a relapse for 10 years. That's from 1943 to 1953. There was no centralized leader of the Egon people. Are you following me now? And so this 10 years period was believed to be because the colonial masters found out that the Igom people were listening more to the Muandakbos, that's the elders in the clans, instead of doing what the colonial masters wanted, like paying tax, allowing them to mine their minerals in Alizaga or the Nasara Egon area, and so many other reasons, and the issue of the demise of Campbell and Mr. Paul and the rest of the thing. So there were kind of crises between the different clan, in fact, that was caused by these people. That's the divide and rule mentality. So they now caused issues between these different Egon clans. So these 10 years, there was no any centralized Egon leader. 1943 to 1953, there was nobody. So in 1954, Mr. Patrick, who was the administrative officer of Akwanga Division back then, was saddled with the responsibility to introduce like an administrative leadership. So what he did was to appoint 3 different persons to, shall I say, lead the 3 different clans in Egon land, try to unite the Egon people back again and try to see if the people will now accept the colonial rules and play by the books. So Mr. Patrick appointed Mr. Alu Agbi to be the administrative head of the Egon Eholo. I told you about the 3 clans of Egon, right? So Mr. Alu Agbi was the head of the Egon Eholo. And Mr. Ongbolo Alafu Ume was appointed as the district head of the Egon Ero. That's the Madantara. And then Mr. Angibi Ekwabla was appointed as the district head of the Egon Anzo. So you have these 3 different persons that were appointed by Mr. Patrick as the district head of these 3 different Egon clans. So they were the ones that were in charge of these clans until when the colonial masters felt that it's high time that they now appoint another centralized chief to look after the affairs of the Egon ethnic group. And so to do that, they appointed Alhaji Abdullahi Ide. Alhaji Abdullahi Ide was or is from the Anzo clan. He was appointed to be the centralized chief and the 3rd indigenous, shall I say, ruler or leader of the Egon people. You can as well call it Aren Eggon. So Alhaji Abdullahi Ide from the Anzo family became the 3rd centralized leader of the Egon people. Alhaji Ide was an accountant and also the treasurer of Akwanga Division back then. So he was appointed on the 2nd of October 1953 to become the Aren Eggon of the Egon people. So he ruled, and in fact during his time, in order for him to try to, like, shall I say, bring more harmony, unity and understanding amongst the different clans in Egon land, he introduced the EGDA, also referred to as the Egon Cultural Development Association, sometimes in 1972. That was when he introduced EGDA to shall I say, promote unity, promote oneness, promote understanding amongst the Egon people. Sadly, however, His Royal Highness Alhaji Abdullahi Ide, the 3rd indigenous Aren Eggon, died on the 6th of May 1981. Now, it was during his time that I told you he introduced EGDA, and during his time, they now introduced the system of kingmakers. So these are some of the major contributions of Alhaji Abdullahi Ide. He was should I say, said to be an outspoken person. He was a very good leader. He understands the system of government, both the colonial system of government and the traditional system of government, right? And Alhaji Abdullahi Ide was actually a Muslim, so he understands all the system, and he was a very, very charismatic and a very good leader of the Igbo people. So he died on the 6th of May, 1981. So Alhaji Abdullahi Ide ruled as the Aren Eggon for 28 solid years. So after the demise of Alhaji Abdullahi Ide, the person that took over the seat pending when they will elect a substantive Aren Eggon was Mr. Umbugala Alaku Envlu Akpoya. Mr. Umbugala was the Aren Ezen. Ezen is another clan in Igonland, or they are part of the Electoral College. So, Umbugala was the Aren Ezen that took over the seat of Aren Eggon in acting capacity pending when they will elect a substantive Aren Eggon. So, and he took over the seat for 2 months pending the substantive election. So, the next person that was democratically elected by the Electoral College that was set up by the former Aren Eggon, that's Abdullahi Ide. The first democratically elected Aren Eggon was His Royal Highness Bala Abene Angbazo. So Bala Abene Angbazo contested the seat of Aren Eggon with other persons, like 8 different persons. Among them was Alhaji Adamu Musa Gale. That's where I'm from, right? So Bala Angbazo won the election on the second tie. The first time, they had 7-7 votes, while others had 1-1 vote, and others did not even have any vote among the 8 people that contested. So Mr. Bala Angbazo and Adamu Gale, they had a tie, 7-7 votes. And in order for the system to now elect the Aren Eggon, the Aren Ezen, that's the caretaker Aren Eggon that acted for 2 months, had to now cast his own vote. So he casted in favor of His Royal Highness, Mr. Bala Abene Angbazo. So that was how Mr. Bala Angbazo, His Royal Highness, may his soul rest in peace, became the Aren Eggon on the 11th day of July 1981. During his time, the stool of Aren Eggon, back then we were still with Plateau State. All this history I'm giving you, we're still in Plateau State. So during His Royal Highness Bala Angbazo's reign, the Aren Eggon stool was upgraded to a first-class status in 1982. Remember, we're still with Plateau State back then. All this history I'm telling you, Benue Plateau, now we're with Plateau. And Aren Eggon, then we were in Lower Plateau. He was the second in command. After the Bongom Jos, the Aren Eggon was second in command. You see what I mean? He was a first-class chief, even while we're still in Plateau. Sadly, on Wednesday, 13th of July, 2022, the reign of His Royal Highness, Mr. Bala Abene Angbazo, came to an end. He died on Wednesday, 13th July 2022. His Royal Highness Bala Angbazo ruled as the Aren Eggon for 41 years. After the demise of His Royal Highness Bala Abene Angbazo, there was like 8 to 10 month period where there was no Aren Eggon. And so the newly elected Aren Eggon is Justice Ahmed Ubangari Alaku. He was a former Chief Justice or Chief Judge of the Nasarawa State Judiciary. Justice Ahmed Ubangari was elected Saturday, I guess, 6th of May, 2023, after securing 2 votes out of the 3 votes of the 3 remaining kingmakers that were still alive. So all the kingmakers died. Only 3 were remaining. So the 3 voted, and 2 voted for His Royal Highness Justice Ahmed Ubangari Alauku, and then he now became the new Aren Eggon. Today that I'm recording this video, His Royal Highness Justice Ahmed Ubangari Alauku has been on the throne as the Aren Eggon for about 5 months now, if you see what I mean. So that is the rundown of our history. Now that is it. You now have it. To give you a rundown, the rulership from Mr. Alumbugu Otsawe became the first indigenous Aren Eggon, or the centralized leader of the Eggon people. After that, his son Abimiku Alumbugu Otsawe took over as a caretaker. After that, there was 10 years a period where there was no Aren Eggon, and then Mr. Patrick now appointed 3 different persons to take charge of the 3 different clans of the Eggon. After that, the British government now organized, like, shall I say, kind of election, and then they appointed or elected Alhaji Abdullahi Ide, His Royal Highness, and to take over the affairs of the Eggon culture. And he was the 3rd indigenous Aren. After the demise of Abdullahi Ide, Bala Bazo became the Aren Eggon, where he had a tie with my uncle, I would say, Adamu Musa Gale. After that, the Aren Eggon was Bala Bazo. He became the Aren Eggon. After his demise in 2022, then the new Aren Eggon we have now is retired Justice Ahmed Ubangari Alauku. So this is the rundown of the history of the Eggon people. I'm an Eggon person. I believe this video will give a better clarification of who the Eggons are. So thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this video, kindly share this video. And if you have any question, please drop it in the comment section. If you're yet to follow my page, kindly follow my page. Thank you so much for listening, and I appreciate your time. I'm an Eggon person. I'll see you in my next video. Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye.